everything I do in my life is working with people. You know, I myself do nothing. I am the person who's in between other people who are working. And so my job is really to assist with the flow of feeling and memory and hope for the future. So in the case of working with John, it's very intense because John feels things so deeply. And frequently at the time, you have no idea how deeply he's feeling it. And it only emerges, of course, in the music. And composing is an incredibly solitary activity. You know, and so a lot of John's work happens in states of extreme solitude and removal from the world. So to be with him at those moments when he comes up for air or returns to planet Earth or, you know, re-engages is very exciting, but also demands a lot of attention to things that you realize this person is coming back into the world. And so you have to respect that and understand that every conversation has more weight than you had imagined.
We had this wonderful period of conceiving thing. It was an immaculate conception. You know, we met frequently in my hometown of Berkeley, California, and each of us would always go to the same coffee shop. And each of us would bring a big backpack of books and, you know, go through lots of poetry. I think early on the idea of a feminist point of view, not a strictly feminist point of view, but one that told the story of birth and told about birth and about the woman's condition from real women and not from men, which is, you know, most of the myth that's handed down through the Middle Ages and the official churches, presumably by men. So that was an idea that we had very early on.
John loves women really deeply, and his work shows that. John is also has an enormous capacity to find compassion where you wouldn't have expected it. That is to say, his music for Pat and Richard Nixon is just unexpectedly compassionate. His music for Marilyn Klinghoffer or for a young Palestinian suicide terrorists, quote unquote, is unexpected. And John really searches very deeply and finds a kind of compassion. And collaboration is about that compassion. It's with. The COM part, it's with. It's together. It's the sharing.
Collaboration becomes a different thing altogether when you get into this stage where you're in the theater and there are, I don't know, I haven't counted how many people are actually performing. You know, there must be a chorus of 32 and an orchestra of 50, and then there are probably 90 people involved who are actually performing. And then there's the support staff backstage and the sound designer and, you know, another 20 or 30. So it's a huge number of people to organize, and I basically stay out of things. I mean, if you had too many cooks in the kitchen at this point, things would just simply collapse. So usually what I do is I sit and listen, and with a yellow pad, and I make lots of comments. But most of my comments are generally directed to the conductor. They're tempo, or I'll go up to a singer and we'll talk. The singers always like to get input from me, you know, on how did that go? Shall I change this? You know, but they're really small things. You know, once my job of composing's done, the changes that are made are really very minimal. Are back there, and in this place, break. Okay, it just needs a little space there. Thank you.
So yes, yes.
Just a little breath.
Okay, choir, is that clear? All right, here we go. Once more, please. 1, 2, and.
Well, you know, what's pretty amazing in this world is everybody has had really profound experiences. So if you can invite them to share those experiences, then something turns out to be added to those profound experiences. So Nora Kimball has had 2 children, has 2 children. So she's been pregnant twice, and she's given birth twice. So to invite her to create a choreography that is about carrying her children, what it means to feel this weight in your body and something growing inside you, and that your being is emerging into another being, and another being is emerging into your being. And means that a pretty profound series of experiences that Nora's had in her life can be offered.
Peter just knew. He knew it would work. And he knew the right personalities to make it really rich. And I'm sure if he picked other people too, the piece gives you that feeling. And it grows on you. So it's not even like you have to try hard to find it, because each one of us find it in our own way, and it's always, there is no wrong way to it.
The fact that Peter works like that, I mean, although he knows exactly what he wants and he tells you what to do, it's not like he's asking you what we should do, but there is a sense of collaboration because he gives us the freedom to give our interpretation to this. And I find that an extremely important fact in working, in creating a piece together. You know, creating a piece, you've got to collaborate with the people who perform it, because they are the ones who are going to interpret. So you've got to collaborate with them. so that it can live to its best.
Shepherds know that you should watch me. Shepherds know that you should watch them, and watch your dreams, and watch your songs, and the dance of the waves, like the joy of your pride and beauty. Ah, sky, blue for the queen in the wind. Head of goats and white hair, lips of praise and red hair.
If it's too open, people feel abandoned, and that they're working without a context, and therefore their work has no tension, or the dialogue never is deeply engaged. So I think the question of keeping a kind of flexibility and at the same time very serious tension points, and creating a situation where dialogue on extremely difficult issues goes forward, not only in spite of the difficulty, but because of the difficulty.
Diligently, diligently. You too, you're standing around here. Right. Diligently, diligently. Forget them. They're small fry. You took care of them last time. In your solo. Yeah. I thought your solo was great.
Bring me word again, that I may come and worship him also.
One, two.
Collaboration is also about recognizing that you have no idea what the endpoints will be. Is that the whole point? Is you gather a group of people together to do something that could never happen alone. And the results are completely unpredictable because it's never happened before. And that's the pleasure of it. And but it calls for real openness in your way you approach every day.
Push, a door open. You get that kind of force into it, right? Right. So the elbows don't go down. The elbows stay up. There you go. And you just don't feel that automatically like is attached surgically to your forehead, which then automatically drops your head. Do we have time to do this once? Yeah. Let's do this once. And let's solve that. Okay? Yeah. Let's do this once. Let's do this entrance once. Then we'll solve that. One thing at a time. Set your scores.
Because the other really important thing is atmosphere. That is to say, in a certain atmosphere, people are inspired and productive. And in a different atmosphere, the same people are neither inspired nor productive. And so most of the work is around atmosphere and feeling. And when certain people are present, the atmosphere changes. And and this feeling that you are inspired, and that, you know, this piece in particular is so much about joy, you know, and you know, like any difficult work, if you do it in an atmosphere that's difficult, you really can't do it because the work is hard enough. That's how you know this is Paris. Good. If you're asking people to do really hard work, then the atmosphere has to be relaxed and joyful, and people have to laugh and smile and enjoy being alive. And so it's really important there are people in the room who can bring that kind of inspirational content.
I think I'm trying to bring some sort of honesty in my own performance. But you know, this piece will live on a lot longer than I will, and certainly will be performed, I think, very, very often, even soon, quickly. It will be performed by many different people, and they will all bring different things to it. But no matter what I'm working on, I guess I always try to get to the core of what's happening in the piece and what it is about the music that moves me, and try to be as honest as possible. I see it as being about love and grace and the understanding the precious quality of life and living, sort of, and having respect for that. There's something very hopeful about the piece, and it's there's so much joy in it. I mean, it's not completely pleasant. There are certainly some things that are eye-opening about it, but I think it's an affirmation of faith, really.
You know, most of my life is around gratitude that certain people are here. It's amazing to be alive at the same time as these extraordinary people. So it's so important to recognize that these are some of the greatest times of our lives right now. And recognize that now instead of later. And be grateful for that. And take care of that. Protect it. Not make it self-conscious, but allow it just to be quietly appreciated so that it can take pleasure in its own presence and being. there's one other thing about this production that's pretty important, which is this idea of working with people who all have extremely different skills, talents, life histories, disciplines. So Don Upshaw sharing something with Michael Schumacher across languages, across lifetimes, but meeting somewhere in both the Americanness of John's music, so they can both be like super American together, and at the same time in something that's way beyond American, in the presence of an angel talking to a woman. And what is taking place between them can't be described in words, because it's taking place between a singer and a dancer.
I believe that God will bring to pass with me each several thing as thou hast told.
What's taking place between Don Upshaw and Marta Carrillo, who is on the film that's playing, who's never met or heard Don Upshaw? In what ways are these women conscious of each other? And in what ways is a message from one being carried to the other? Partially, I have to be responsible to be the message bearer, so that when Marta comes, she'll be happy and not feel that her life, which she offered to the camera, is in any way being misrepresented. But the opposite, that she is part of a dialogue that she would want to be part of, even though she's never met Don Upshaw or John Adams. So a lot of collaboration is about respecting what people's lives represent who are coming into the room, and respecting everything that is not only unsaid, but that can't be said. Collaboration is about a kind of trust, that which is unspoken can remain unspoken, but be understood. Some real way. Okay.
Thank you so much, Peter.
See you around.